Hello lovelies and welcome back to An Abundance of Sophie, and let's just pick up where I left off last episode. So I arrived into Manchester late afternoon, once again headed to my hostel, checked in, went and grabbed some food and then called it a night. My first full day in Manchester, I decided to start with a walking tour. And I found this little indie free walking tour, the Free Manchester Walking Tours, which is run by a guy called Josh. And so I headed down to start that tour off. Now it didn't start until 11, so I wandered through the gay village, then grabbed some breakfast, and then headed to the Alan Turing Memorial to meet up and start the tour. Now, Josh took us through quite a bit of the city, and he was such a great host. He told us little tidbits that I don't think I would have picked up from anyone else other than Josh, and he made it really enjoyable. It was a great time, and I definitely recommend his tours to anyone. They were such a good way to get an overall snapshot of the city that then I could build on over the course of the next day and a half that I had. So he kind of showed us the main locations, gave me a couple of ideas of things that I wanted to visit, and after departing from Josh's tour, I went and grabbed some lunch and then headed off to explore. I picked out a couple of things that I was going to do the next day, but for my main day, after lunch, I did a bit of shopping in the main shopping centre, and then I trekked out to the Manchester Museum. The highlights for the museum for me were the dinosaur skeletons and the fact that they had live frogs. I have never been to a museum where there have been live animals, so that was quite a surprise and quite enjoyable. But by the time I had wandered the museum, heading back into the city, it was already dark. It was kind of a bit rainy, bit gloomy. So I grabbed dinner and called it a night. And when I got back to my hostel, I realized that for my second night in a row, I had my dorm to myself. So I thought this was a perfect opportunity. I pulled out my phone and made my World's Greatest Shave campaign launch video, which I posted here a year ago. It's crazy that that was a full year ago. I do miss my blue hair sometimes, and by sometimes I mean very often. But after that, I went to bed, woke up the next day, ready to head out into the city. Now at this point, I was on day 8 of my trip and I'd already walked over 100 kilometers. So I was starting to feel a little tired and weary. So I decided I'd take it a bit easy, which was good because this was my first proper wet weather day of the trip. I figured I'd start with the Football Museum because I have been getting into British football over the last 5 or 6 years, but there's still a lot about the sport that I don't know. Unfortunately, it was closed, so instead I decided to see the Ryland Museum. Now, this museum was built by John Ryland's widow, who had been left all of his money, and she decided that a good way to memorialize her husband was to build this absolutely stunning museum. So far on this trip, we've seen a couple of great libraries, but this one was pretty up there on the list. It was just gorgeous, and I will just let the photos speak for themselves. After the Ryland Museum, I took in a couple of independent little museums, did some more window shopping, grabbed some food, and then after grabbing my bag from my hostel, I headed to the train station to head to Birmingham. And once again, I'm going to end it there. Train stations seem to be the nice place to cut and pick it up next time. So next episode, we will be arriving in Birmingham. I look forward to sharing that story with you. But until next time, thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and share this video. Subscribe to my channel. And for a greater abundance of Sophie, you can find me on my social medias. Bye, guys.